Fit up the middle. In comes Benny Milko coming around third. He'll score easily.
Hello and welcome, fastball fans around the world. Welcome to Zeist, the home of Zeister slot tournament here in the Netherlands. This side of the lake, today we've got day 2 of the tournament, and that will lead off the games scheduled today. New Zealand taking on the home team, the Netherlands. The Netherlands will be batting first here as we're about to get underway. New Zealand, of course, fielding in their white and black sleeves. Great to have you along. I'm Jason Gooders, aka Chopper. First pitch from Daniel Chapman just goes a little bit outside for the high lifter, but we're underway here. Norman Ames joining the Sportpark broadcasting crew here at Blikkenburg Sportpark.
With Quincy Jones. Quincy is the brother of international from the women's team, Kimberly Jones, actually. Second at bat, Clancy Poloni is the captain. Then Eldrick Dijkhoff coming in last Friday from Aruba, one of the islands. While Quincy just got a strikeout from Chapman. Fourth at bat, Enrique Javier, the DP, M. Lawrence. Third base, Reverend Brooks. First base, Anthony Beaumont behind the dish. Sigmund Francisca right field. Ida Raap in center field, and Wesley Blanc is the pitcher of today.
And there you go, that's the batting lineup 1 to 9 for the team from the Netherlands. New Zealand fielding line, let's set that for you now. They've got out at left field, Campbell Anoka, Riley Marquez, Jackson White. Left to right in the outfield, left to right in the infield, Josh Harborough, Cole Evans, the mainstay there. Joel Evans will join home at second base, and then Nathan Nuku player coach and just swing and miss on that offering. Behind the dish will be Kellen Compain for the new rising star in New Zealand, Daniel Chapman. So just underway here in the first innings. No score, of course. Second batter up here in Polonius, the second baseman. And just pulling the string there. Comes out in front. Chapman gets the job done here. Back down to Nuku, and that's 2 batters up, 2 batters down.
It's good to see, Jason, that Polonius is back on his feet again. He was on crutches, I think, about 3 weeks ago. I think it was his knee. But it's good to see the captain back on the field again. Definitely, he's going to be ready for the Worlds.
Well, it's always good to have the heart of your team out there, you know, the team, the spirit, of course. Talking about that, Norman, this matchup today between New Zealand and the Netherlands, what do you think we're going to get?
Well, I think it's for both teams. It's important to have good at-bats, right? So it's all preparation for the Worlds. This guy's an interesting guy. One of the biggest talents I've ever seen in that softball. He just came out of Aruba, playing for a few years right now. Eldrick Dijkhoff, but lots of teams in North America want to pick up this guy already.
Well, I can imagine. You can just see in the batter's box here that he's built for a power, small strike zone. So if he can get that bat around at the right time here, got to be deadly. Chapman's drop ball's good on the outside edge. Looking to go with it though.
I saw Chapman in the Intercontinental Cup last year in Prague. I was impressed by him. Good young talent.
And Chapman just rears back and picks up the strikeout. That's 1, 2, 3. He goes through the order, striking out the side. That'll do the top of the first innings. No score in it yet. We'll be back with the bottom of the first in the lineups in just a short moment. Well, welcome back here in the bottom of the first innings. New Zealand and Netherlands underway here. And we'll give you the lineups for obviously, the batting order for New Zealand first as we go 1 to 9. Cole Evans will lead off. Riley Markia will be hitting in the 2 spot to fielder. Nuka captains in the 3 spot. Cleanup will be Wayne Ulu. White will be hitting in the 5 spot playing right field. Josh Harborough will be hitting 6. Callum Compain will be the 7. Campbell Anoka and Joel Evans will round out the batting order here 1 to 9. Footing lineup for Netherlands, Norman.
Fielding lineup from left to right in the outfield: Quincy Jones, center field Idal Raap, right field Sigmund Francisca, and then in the infield from left to right, Emery Lawrence on third base, Eldrick Dijkhoff shortstop. Look at this guy. Glenzig Poloni is the captain at second base, and Rev Brown at first base. Behind the dish is Anthony Beaumont, longtime national team player, and good to see Wesley Blanc back. He missed a few years, but he's back.
Well, here we go underway here for the bottom of the first innings, and it's great to have these men back in the game. I've got to say, been mightily impressed with the way that the Netherlands team carries himself. First pitch. Going at the first pitch as Evans, and trying to set the tone early in this one with a drive to centre field. Wesley Blanc on the mound here, getting a rude welcoming, and he'll be thinking, well, where's my chance to get my rhythm, get my lead in here? And
that was a quick one.
Yeah, we'll soon find out what the approach is from Riley Markia, now coming up the bat for New Zealand.
I think what Wesley will try to take out of this game is to get them off balance. That's the only thing he can do against this very, very strong batting lineup. So, work the corners and change up your speeds.
Well, that always helps to be able to use both sides of the plate, of course, and trying to get them off balance a little is never a bad thing. Blanc now. Low lifter is perfectly placed on the outer edge of the zone there. If he gets that strike all day, he'll be a happy man.
Oh, yeah. I would love that as a catcher.
Yeah, there's not too many catchers who wouldn't like that, that's for sure.
Give me that, Blue.
Yeah. One and
That's
two. That's an exquisite play from the Netherlands. Third base flicks it on over to Francisco at 2, and they've completed off with Brooks at first base. That's a 5-4-3 if I've ever seen one. That's
a good, quick hands on the infield. M. Lawrence has always been good on that corner, and, with the experienced boys up the middle, it's a good shot.
Got to say that M. Lawrence, I've seen a little bit of him. He looks like a gamer.
Oh, he is, definitely. I've seen it very intense when I was coaching GB against the Netherlands a few years back in Czech Republic. He was intense, definitely. Love it.
Well, that's one thing we always talk about, talent and skill. They, of course, come and go, but effort and attitude, that is something that you choose.
Definitely.
Nathan Nukunuku now, first base player, captain for the New Zealand Golden Homes Black Sox. This one just loosened down. Nathan very, very fastidious with the strike zone. Not very often he'll wave at something that's not there in the zone.
He's been around for so many years. He's seen so many pitches, and he's a smart guy.
Yes, indeed, and obviously next week when he hits to the WBSC Men's Softball World Championship later on in the Czech Republic, he will be historically the most participated player for the Golden Homes Black Sox, and he'll be tipping the scale of the record books on some amazing athletes to come out of New Zealand, and Jared Martin, of course, Mark Sorensen, and Brad Rona, and pretty big names in the sport of softball in New Zealand, of course, and Nathan Nukunuku.
I had a good chat with Mark on Thursday after the games in Haarlem, and he's such a gentleman. He takes time for everybody. We've known each other for a couple of years now. But about Nate, this is going to be his fifth Worlds? Fifth, sixth?
Yeah, it's number 6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And just impressive to get so far and through his career. And I think we've watched Nathan grow in the game as he's come along and develop himself, or redevelop, if you like. Started as a very young shortstop. And he'll take a 4-ball walk, go down to first base, then moved over to second, and like all good senior veterans, ends up at first base.
Exactly.
But mentally, he went the other way and just got better and better and better. And that is the power game of Nathan Nukunuku, his ability to read and understand and preempt the game.
Well, not only as a player, but also as a captain, I think he matured very much.
Yeah. Wayne Laulu now. First pitch is down from Blanc. That'll allow Nukunuku down to second base. Well, the weather here today is a sprightly 16 degrees. We're heading for a high of 21, so that'll be good, and not a drop of rain on the radar, which is an outstanding result after yesterday. Here's a hard one into the 5-6 hole. The throw is over, not in time. Wayne Laulu, he might look like a bear, but he runs like a deer safely at first base. Got to say, the shortstop for the Netherlands made a great effort to get into that hole.
He's he might look chunky. We sometimes call him chunky, but he's quick. He got really quick feet and quick hands. But
well, Jackson Watt now. Jackson is the debutant for the Golden Homes Black Sox, and well, he debuted, I should say, last year at the Intercontinental Cup, but this will be his debut entrance with the Black Sox at a World Championship at a senior level. So, unfortunate story for young Jackson. Ground ball drives that one into the leg, that'll go dead. He was named in the under-19 team for New Zealand a couple of cycles ago, Midland, Michigan, 5 days out from travelling to the USA. Breaks his arm at training, unable to attend. So he had that, but he decided to stay at the game and work at it, and now he's been rewarded with the highest of honours.
that's the best reward you can get.
Laulu poised at first base. 2 outs here, of course. Laulu goes. That's the trick play to 2, and it works. Nukunuku will go home. Laulu won't stop at second either. Draws the throw to second base. A little bit of miscommunication up the middle, and that'll lead in the first run of the ball game on.
Yeah, that's a little miscommunication, but it's good that it happens right here and not next week, right? So
Yeah.
you got to get that.
We are going to get that a little bit, and of course depends on how long the teams have been together. But they all know the prize is next week, but I'm sure they will look to get that communication down pack going throughout the rest of this game. Hard ground ball from Watt goes down the line. Intentions definitely being shown.
Scared Lau a little bit.
Yep.
I would.
I don't know. I'd be scared as the batter if I had Lau. Right. White gets on the back end of one. It is deep. It is high. It is back. Underneath it on the fence with a great catch there. Edel Rapp.
Edel Rapp.
Yeah, fantastic catch at the fence. And that'll complete the first innings in its entirety. And not before the Wayne Laulu draws the throw to second base, and Nathan Nukunuku will come trotting home. New Zealand lead the ball game 1-0. Top 2 coming up next. Well, welcome back here for a game number 9 on the schedule, the revised schedule, of course. New Zealand taking on Netherlands, top of 2 now, and we've got a beautiful view here. It's outstanding effort, lads. Just tidying up a little bit of a few things there, but right behind backstop, or just a yard to it at the moment, and got a perfect view of Daniel Chapman here throwing nice and hard for New Zealand. Enrique Javier?
Yeah, Enrique Javier is up there. There you go. Enrique Javier is also a veteran. Been on the team for many, many years. Plays a lot in Belgium as well. Good hitter.
Well, you can see the presence of the man. He definitely looks like a veteran and doesn't look very, very frazzled as he's in the batter's box, which is always good, level head. 1-2 now the count. One in the dirt, and Javier just knows what to do there. Takes off the first base, gets away from Compain, the catcher, and he's rewarded with a drop third strike.
Yeah, there you go. We're on base. See what he can do.
Threat to steal?
I don't think so on this time.
Right. Okay.
I think 10 years ago, Tim is smiling. 10 years ago, he would have gone now. Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, wouldn't we all? I guess he's got experiences on his side. He'll know if there's a drop ball or a change up in the dirt, and he might get a little extra jump.
Yep.
You never know. All right, Emron Lawrence now, the third baseman. We saw a nice defensive play from him in the bottom of the first. He now gets his first opportunity swinging at that rise ball. Holds on the rise ball this time. Too high to be tempting. So Lawrence saw yesterday in one of the matches he did a bit of catching as well.
Yep, he can pitch, he can catch. It's a utility player. I like him at third base though.
Yeah.
I think he'll be one of the corner players at the Worlds.
Swing and a miss on the outside edge. Interesting. We talked about Javier down at first base and his ability to steal a base games. Just taking off early there on the pitch, but then pulling up, trying to pull obviously Cole Evans out of shortstop. So working hard in the field on the bases. That rise ball's working hard and will take care of Lawrence for the first out here in the second innings.
He's got a good jump on the rise ball. How old is he? Is he now, Daniel Chapman?
Yeah, Chapman would be 20, I would say, coming out of that junior program 2 cycles ago. Maybe 21 at just. So young up and comer, that's for sure. Well, Reuben Brooks now takes over. And he's nice and steady. Low stance with a big man. First baseman. Coaching staff for the Netherlands. Who we got out there, Norman?
We got Bente Pas out there at third base, and we got, well, we call him Skilacci. His real name is Comenencia, but I think not a lot of people know that. Skilacci is his nickname, and there's probably a great story behind that, but I won't tell.
Okay. Rise ball seems to be snapping pretty hard out of Chapman here as we're getting going in the first innings. Another swing and a miss. 1-2 now the count.
Team manager and the big boy is Anthony Jose. He's in the dugout. Thanks, Tim, for noticing that.
And off the end of the bat, flies up. Second baseman's camped underneath it, Evans, and we'll record the second out. So Chapman still working that rise ball on the outside edge by the looks of things of their approach here in New Zealand against the Netherlands. Anthony Beaumont, the catcher now, he will step in to see what he can do against the rise ball of Chapman.
Anthony Beaumont, interesting player. I took him on board in my club teams 15 years ago, I think. He's been around and he's really promoting the game here in Holland. So a lot of respect for him. The club game basically died here, but he's been to Czech Republic and played there, and he's really trying to pick that up here again.
Well, that's fantastic to see the said man working on his craft. Good eye there on the rise. Well, not even tempting Beaumont. Netherlands softball, played with passion.
Oh, yeah.
Low lift is good, and acknowledged by Beaumont as well. Looking to go the other way with it.
So he might go here.
You see Beaumont, the catcher, you can see the mind ticking over here, working his way through, thinking about the sequence, and then think, wait a minute, let's just take a step here. Not allow Chapman to stay in the same rhythm. Clever batting. Drop ball's good, too hard to handle though. And unfortunately for Beaumont, that means he will go down on strike. So the Netherlands have gone through 2 now, no score yet. We'll be back with the bottom 2, 1-0, New Zealand leading. Welcome back here to Blikkenburg Sportpark. Jason Gubis, a.k.a. Chopper. Norman Ames joining me here, the Ballpark Broadcasting crew on this one, New Zealand taking on Netherlands. Bottom of the second innings, Josh Harbour will lead off. They'll send up Callum Compain and Campbell Anoka, 1, 2, 3 here, the Golden Homes, New Zealand Black Sox.
Iets schuiven, want ik zie nu de rasters. Ja. Iets naar beneden. Ik zie boven 2 hekjes.
Well, Norman, I got to say, I've only been here a couple of days now, but I'm mightily impressed with your language, the Dutch language here in the Netherlands. Not easy to understand, but man, if you can get a hold of it, that's got to be something special.
It is. It's a lot of multilingual people here, right? So a lot of cultures, which is good. I don't think there's any. You found any problems talking English here in the hotel?
They're perfect. Or getting a coffee, of course. First delivery here. Harbro stands tall in the batter's box, but does have a good eye for a strike zone.
It's good to see Harbro back, though. I think the last Worlds, he was...
Yeah, he came to Whitehorse, more of an auxiliary role. Did get the pinch hit in the gold medal match against Australia. In that innings, in the lead up to the Grand Slam by Joel Evans, he had a single over the second baseman, which was obviously helped them to get in the role. Here comes a good play.
There you go.
And it is indeed. The shortstop, you mentioned at the top of the shop that he is the heart and soul of this team. You can see why. That's an exquisite play in the 5-6 hole.
Eldrik Dijkhoff is an extraordinary talent. Played in Venezuela as well, and I know a lot of teams in North America want him. The thing is that his English is not that good, so I asked him to come back to the booth, but...
Hard hit ball down to third base, and bread and butter, just like that, 1-2. New Zealand go 2 outs on 2 ground balls to the left side.
Like I said, Blanc is working that strike zone and trying to keep him off balance, and that's exactly what he did right here. Let's see if he can do that with Campbell and Noka.
Well, Campbell and Oka, free swinger, of course. And I got to say, beautiful day. The crowds are starting to come in now. The sun is obviously will help with that. The quality of softball with the home team taking on the New Zealand Golden Homes Black Sox will also help with that cause as well. Drop ball to Anoka's down in the dirt. And we also have some official people here as well. The ambassador for New Zealand is in attendance. That's great to see. So that comes in on the edge. Oh, just getting word that we might be able to get the New Zealand ambassador in on the broadcast. That'll be a treat just to find out what her role is here and where she resides, how long she's been here and things like that, and get another insight to this beautiful country here, Netherlands. Norman, softball in the Netherlands, where is it played in the hotbeds?
And the hotbeds are actually around Haarlem, where the New Zealand team are. There's a good strikeout.
Well, first strikeout of the match by Blanc, and it was a good one. Rise ball on the outside edge. Also stops the scoring and the bleeding from New Zealand. No score in the bottom of the second. 1-0 is the scoreline. New Zealand leading the Netherlands. Top three coming up next. Well, welcome back here. Top of the third innings. 1-0 New Zealand leading the Netherlands. And they'll set up the right fielder, centre fielder, and left fielder. So all the outfielders here for the Netherlands get them underway here in the third innings.
Sergei Francisco is also a former baseball player. That's how it works here. Baseball's big. Former world champions, of course. Mm-hmm. So the youth players tend to go to baseball first before they make the transfer. You know how it is. It takes a couple of years to transfer to this totally different game.
Yeah, sure does. Fundamentals, I guess, or generic stuff is the games are very, very similar, aren't they? But fundamentally, there's a few adjustments you need to make.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's good to see that one of the former world champions, Danny Rombly, he's actually turned around to softball, to fast pitch right now. And he's making great plays in the outfield. He's not playing right now, but a great guy, and he'll be there.
Edel Rapp now looking to hold his swing. Couldn't quite do that on the first offering. Plenty of energy coming from the Netherlands dugout. We mentioned at the top of the shot that they play with a bit of passion. You can see that in the way they carry themselves. Obviously, the game of softball means a lot to them.
Oh yeah, they've been playing for so many years, and summertime. It's at least summertime. It's about 4 or 5 days a week for these boys. Strong swing. Couldn't quite catch up with him.
Nice and aggressive, and that's good to see. You don't want to see them taking a backward step against New Zealand.
Yes.
I've got my opportunity here. I'm going to take it with both hands.
Ooh, nice drop on the outside.
Ik heb nou weer terug. Hij kan eventueel weer terug uitgewisseld worden. Ja. Als jij dan voor mij...
And of course, just finishing it off there with that on the outside, and that'll be 2 down now. We'll go back to the top of the shop now. Quincy Jones strike out his first attempt. Jones looks like he's as a good lead-off hitter, has the ability for pace. So you never know. There you go. There's that drop-down bunt approach. You can see with that stature, that'd be one of his assets, you'd think.
He's a quick boy, definitely, same as his sister.
No batting grip. Plenty of bling to go with it, though. Low lifter on the outside edge is good. Chapman looking to nip the outside edge there. Good eye by Jones. Tough one to lay off with, an 0-2 count. So there's another drop ball just a little further down, and Jones can't keep up with it. And showing his intentions in this innings is Chapman as he goes 1-2-3, sits them down. Oh, via the strikeout. Moving nice and quick through this one. An hour and a half is a time limit in the matches today due to the increased schedule after yesterday's precipitation here at the ballpark. So we're moving nice and quickly. Bottom three coming up next. New Zealand 1-0. Well, welcome back here to Blikkenburg Sportpark, home of the HSV Handball and Softball Club. You're watching the Zeister Slot Tournament, and we're up to the bottom of the third innings. The New Zealand Golden Home Black Sox send up Joel Evans, Cole Evans, Riley Markia. 1-2-3 here as they look to extend the lead, and Evans does exactly that as he hits a ground ball up the middle on the second pitch that he sees. Well, we've got a special guest in the booth here with us. Linda Walker, the New Zealand ambassador to the Netherlands, has just arrived here to come watch the event. Linda, welcome to the ballpark.
Kia ora, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. A beautiful day in Zeist.
I know, indeed. And of course, when you were coming, I knew it was going to be good weather. So that's fantastic to have you along. Whereabouts are you based?
I'm based in The Hague.
All right,
Yep.
fantastic. And from New Zealand, where are you from?
From New Zealand, I'm from Friendly Fielding.
Friendly Fielding.
Friendly Fielding.
Well, I know the area well. I went to boarding college just out of there, Hudson Polder.
I know the college well. They
Yeah.
used to play us at rugby, Fielding Agricultural High School.
Oh, there was good battles between the two. We're always jealous because you were in the city. It was big city for us then, right? And because we're out in the country, but it was always good rivalry. And I still have some good friends from the era as well. Hard hit ball from Evans, the third base. He regathers. Quite. Just going to check the call by the umpire at first base. Does make the play in time. So great work. Ronnie Dix taking over at third base. Makes a defensive effort on the first one that he sees. Joel Evans will go over to second base on the play. Nathan Nukunuku now. Sorry, Riley Markia, of course, is up. Well, Linda, coming along to obviously see the event and, of course, New Zealand playing it. It's great to have you along here. Have you ever played the game of softball?
Yes, I have. I played at primary school and intermediate and the start of my high school years. I
There you
used
go.
to play catcher, but nowhere near as good as these guys, I hasten to add.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's one of those things, softball's a special sport in New Zealand that everyone at some stage has played the game, whether it be at school.
I think it's a rite of passage, really, for us Kiwis.
Hard hit ball there by Markia, goes through the 5-6 hole. Here comes Evans to the plate. And he will score to the applause of the New Zealand ambassador. Fantastic to see New Zealand post up another run. Well, if New Zealand score while you're in the booth, we should just keep you here the whole game,
Exactly. I
right?
must be the lucky person.
Fantastic.
I might have to go on tour with them, do you think?
I think you should. I think you should come to Prague, and
Exactly.
we should get the New Zealand ambassador to the Czech Republic there. If we get both of you there,
Yep.
we've got both good luck
Home
charms
runs.
coming. Yeah, exactly. How long have you been the ambassador to the Netherlands?
I've been here for 2 years, and we have another 2 years to run. Fantastic country.
Great. And going at the first pitch, this is deep. Back to the warning track. Catch is made out there by Francesca, and that will allow long enough for Markia to trot over to second base. So 2 outs now for New Zealand, and they'll send up the big guy, Wayne La'ulu, out of the Miramar Ball Club out of Wellington. Obviously, he looks like if he hadn't have made the New Zealand Black Sox, he may have made our other great team out of
the
New
All
Zealand.
Blacks.
He's definitely the size of it, isn't he?
We're looking at a home run here, I think.
Markia takes off on any bobble ball, and if you haven't had a chance to watch New Zealand run the bases in the game of softball, they're super explosive when
Absolutely.
they're running.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand's Black Sox team, of course, been at the top of the world for such a long time, Linda. When you get to go to events where you get to see the All Blacks or the Black Sox or any one of our other great sporting codes achieving at the highest level internationally, how does that make you feel?
Very proud. Very, very proud of our Kiwi teams. You know, I mean, we're Kiwis and we can do anything, and we're great at whatever we do. So I feel very proud of any New Zealand sports team.
And how could you not be proud? Great pitch there by Blanc on the outside edge on La'ulu. I've been putting a little bit of thought to that, and I think, we're a small country. We're obviously isolated from the rest of the world a little bit. I mean, today we can get around, but we still are a very far market or a far country from the rest of the world. However,
Here we come, we're coming home, aren't we?
you got
Woo!
it. There you go. I tell you what, we won't let the ambassador for New Zealand leave with the way
I
things are
think,
going.
yeah, exactly. We're on a roll now.
Ground ball up the middle, and they pick up another run, New Zealand. La'ulu will go over here, and they'll bring out the head coach for the Netherlands, and they do have the bullpen warming up, and maybe 3 runs is too much. We'll soon find out whether they'll look to make a change. But New Zealand, on the back of the good luck from New Zealand ambassador, have started to get the runs rolling here.
Woo!
In the bottom of the third innings. They had one conference. They're a good guy. He's going to stay out there. Good to see. And he'll be a competitor. Well, Wesley Blanc on the mound here. He will not want to relinquish that ball whatsoever. Jackson Watt now steps in to go to work. I was mentioning before about one of the things that I think that sets aside Kiwis looking to achieve, whether it be in the sporting world or even in business on the world stage, is that we are a small nation and we want to get ahead. We've got to think ahead.
Yeah.
And I also think we're not a nation that fits in a box.
Absolutely.
We tend to
you're
just
right.
explode out the side or through the roof of the box and create our own pathways.
I think we punch. What I keep hearing is we punch above our weight, and we're always prepared to give anything a go.
Well, we sure do. Well, I tell you what, that's half innings. We pick up 2 runs, and I thank you, Linda, for coming along to the tour. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and fingers crossed you'll help New Zealand
It's
get to
fantastic.
that gold medal.
Yeah.
Maybe you in Prague next week.
Could be the lucky charm, but good luck to the Black Sox Prague. We thank you of you.
Fantastic. There you go. Linda Walker, the New Zealand ambassador to the Netherlands. Thank you for your time. That'll do us here through the 3rd innings. New Zealand punch up 2 runs, 3-0. They lead. Coming up next, top 4. Well, welcome back here to the Zeister tournament. Moving nice and quickly through here as we get to the top of the 4th innings. The Netherlands will send up Polonius de Kirk. Javier, 1, 2, 3 here. The second baseman, shortstop, and designated player. Norman Ames joins us back in the booth. Great to have you back in here, mate. Well, what do you think of the game so far?
I think Holland's doing well. You know, we know what New Zealand can do, but I'm proud of this team on how how many passion they play, how much passion they play. It's good so far.
I think the Netherlands are playing outstanding here through 3 innings of work. Only 3 runs given up to New Zealand. And you know what? It's one of those times when you've got an opportunity. We know this is not in the world event, but it's not very often you get to play New Zealand anyway, and teams tend to elevate.
Exactly. It's the first time, I think they're here in Holland, and I think the crowd is picking up, so that's good.
Yeah, it's outstanding. We see them all lined up from our vantage point in the grandstands behind home plate, but also along third base. Spattered across the outfield. That's where the Kiwis will be sitting, as they normally do. Ground ball over the top. Good reactional swing, though. Offensively for the Netherlands, what do you think, Norman, they need to do to get some guys in the base path?
I think they have to adjust to the speed and the good rise ball. And if that doesn't work, just try the short game. There's always a lot of speed. I think they have the speediest player I've ever seen on softball on the bench right now, Jeff Delfina.
Mm-hmm.
He might come in. You've seen him probably yesterday.
I've heard about Jeff Delfina. He's got the gas, right?
He's got the gas. He's just got to get on base. That's it. That's what the game is all about.
Oh, Honolulu's in the house. Good to see. All the spirits coming out here on Championship Sunday at the Zeister Slot Tournament. Here we go. Chapman now. And just spoiling that one on the outside edge. Stays alive at this at bat.
What do you reckon? He might go to the off speed right here?
I
haven't
don't
seen a lot.
know if he will go off speed yet. I'm not too sure if they have quite caught up with the pace. I think until such time that comes,
Yep.
and maybe if they get the third time through the lineup, depending on how New Zealand's strategy is, of course, offensively with the pitching duties.
Good one as well.
But they're just right there. I mean, the rise. Well, he was also behind on that pitch.
Yep.
So I think at the moment, for now,
It's
I
good.
think they'll stay with the Gears.
Yep. Well, let's see what Dijkhoff can do here. He's, like I said, he came in, I think, yesterday. No, Friday. Friday evening, so he might be a bit jet-lagged, but the guy's a talent, so let's see what he got.
Well, he's played outstandingly in the shortstop fielding role thus far. There's Dijkhoff, and he takes a low lifter just below the zone. Down on strikes his first attempt. But you'll know an athlete of this stature and caliber will look to resurrect those results as you go through a match. And just falling over the top of a drop ball on the effort. Maybe guessing a little bit, lifter or on the outside edge, and get a little bit unbalanced. The game within the game.
The game within the game.
Thinking, what's the
There you go.
sequence? And there you go. Not one of
There it
names, Nostradamus. Probably changed the pace in the last batter, but I guess with the experience in the batter's box now, choosing to utilise it. Quiet word from the catcher campaign. Also draws in the captain from New Zealand, Nuku Nuku, just to make sure that they're on the same page. They'll have a defensive strategy against each batter for this team from the Netherlands.
Well, that's written Mark Sorensen all over it, right?
Yeah. Low lifter right down Main Street, fouls off down the first base side. A beautiful little ballpark here in a sporting pavilion area. Right in the corner as we look across, we can see over to Diamond 2, over the back there towards the clubhouse. So a prime advantage point. Drop ball is good on the outside edge, the same swing we saw on the second pitch. Rules up. And the fifth strikeout will go back actually another half innings. 6 strikeouts in a row here. Chapman just knuckled right down. Enrique Javier now, he was.
Oh. What the hell happened there? That was a sleeve.
The on-deck batter here. He's new into the ball game, came in for the third baseman, and Ronnie Dix now.
Yep.
Just warming up, and I think one of the guys played a prank on him. He thought he had the weight thing securely put onto his bat. No, not indeed. First swing, out it goes into the field. So nice trick by the boys, and that's great thing is softball. Always a bit of humour, left, right and centre. Well, it's Javier now. He got on via the drop third strike. His first at bat. Talked about his senior veteran leadership in the team. And as you look through the squad for the Netherlands, Norman, who are those leadership guys?
Well, I think on and off the field it's definitely Beaumont and Polonius, who've been around for years. It's good to see young, well, I always say young Jeffrey Visser because he was very young when he started playing for me. He's not that young anymore. But definitely Polonius and Beaumont on and off the field.
Well, that's so important, isn't it, to have that balance, not just on the field leadership, but off-field leadership. And I watched the Netherlands carry themselves around the ballpark this weekend. I've been very impressed. The number of the squad and just the way they carry themselves. They're a credit to your nation, sir.
The thing is, we'll talk about that one in the next innings.
That's because Chapman's not mucking around here, and he picks up the 7th strikeout in a row as we're marching through this one nice and quickly. There you go. That's the way it's done. Top of 4 done. Bottom 4 coming up. 3-0. New Zealand lead the Netherlands.
Change.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Zeister Slot Tournament. New Zealand will take over offensively now. Josh Harbrough will lead up, followed by Callum Compain. And, of course, Cameron Noka follows him. As New Zealand lead this ball game 3-0 here in the bottom of the fourth innings. A couple of changes defensively for the Netherlands teams. We see Harbrough pick up a walk and go down to first base. Who we got the changes out there, champ?
Wesley Bonk, after 3 innings, been substituted by Jeffrey Visser at the plate. Ziggy Francisca is going to second base. Quincy Jones to right field. Ido Lab to left field. And Danny Rombly is coming in for Glenzig Polonius, and he's playing center field.
Well, there's a few changes there for sure, with the big one, of course, on the mound here, right-handed hurler Jeffrey Visser. What should we expect to see from him?
Jeff's been outstanding the last week. He came back after a couple of years of absence in the national team, but he's always been a great talent. He used to be a shortstop second baseman, actually, and started off pitching about a decade ago.
Oh, drop ball looks okay.
Drop ball looks okay. His main pitch is a curve on the outside and a rise ball.
Harbrough at first base is a threat to run. Swing and a miss. Good drop ball. Maybe a little bit of curve action on it as well. Just to see the way he's finishing off on that delivery. Great, got some great volunteers here in Zeist.
There it is.
Just on the edge of the bat, goes foul down the right field line.
Looks like he's taking a bit off on the outside curve, which is a smart thing to do with this batting lineup.
Yeah, varying the pace of your pitches can definitely help if the drop is a little different to the curve, and then the change up, of course. And with that in mind, New Zealand's got to sit back a little bit, keep the hands back. There's that change up, another change of pace. This one gets away from the catcher Beaumont, and that'll allow Harbrough to scamper down to second base. We've got the Phoenix ball boys and girls here picking up all the foul balls that go over the line, and bat boy and girls. Compain takes one off the shin guard. He won't bother about that. That's why they have it.
He better have it.
Oh, now he calls time. And actually maybe just clipped them outside of the shin guard. I think just looking at that shin guard, he's got it facing in a little bit, so that one that, I guess, protecting if it comes off the bat into your foot.
Yep.
Not so much from the pitcher.
It's always rough when you wear a shin guard and it just misses it, right?
Yeah, indeed. Old adage in softball, don't rub it, of course.
Exactly.
I want to bring out a visit here to the mound. So one of the battery coaches just coming out there from the Netherlands.
I think it's the physio, so
okay.
Might be something wrong with Jeff, but
maybe just checking that he's okay.
He's all right.
I tell you what, if it's like any other pitcher I know in this world, it'll take a bulldozer and a digger and the rest of the Gold Rush crew to try and prime off that mound.
I remember we had one physio at the national team, and Tim, my neighbor here, he knows something about her, Mariana. She always had one solution: put ice on it.
Put ice on it. It always helps the swelling to go down. And there's a good pitch right on the outside edge there. Drop ball seems to be falling in well now.
I think Jeff is working on his drop ball a lot more than he did a couple of days ago.
And if it works once,
Yep.
we'll go back there again. And another one just on that outer edge of the zone, and right at the bottom there. And he's rewarded with another strike here. So Inoka will need a plate coverage now. And he'll hold this time on that curveball. You can see Inoka this moving to the outer edge to protect that zone. We see some bullpen action for Netherlands down the edge there.
What I see up there, Chopper, is I think he might be the oldest one on the team, but he's been around for ages. Enio Kwas, that's a good strikeout.
Well, you knew he was going to come back with that drop ball on the outside edge. So successful with the call. And you've got to go back there. They mixed in the rise ball to tempt him on the outside edge. Couldn't get that. And then went back with a drop ball. Fine strikeout by Visser here in his first innings of work. Time called by the catcher. Just going to grab some more
Glasses.
equipment. Yeah, that's right. Sunglasses. That's
Yep.
because the sun's out today.
Finally.
My friend.
Finally.
Now I heard the weather here can be outstanding on a summer day, and we've got ourselves one now. It's a sure difference from yesterday, that's for sure, as we battled through the showers and rain delays. None of those look like they're on the radar today for sure. The only one will be Joel Evans. Evans takes that drop ball.
I remember we were with GB, and when I was coaching GB, we were working on Joel and Cole, but obviously when he got selected by the Black Sox, that was a no-go. Father Clive plays for Great Britain many years ago, but big talents.
Yeah, foul tipped off, yes, of course. And Joel Evans batting now. Cole Evans, the shortstop leadoff hitter, who will bat straight after him. No relation whatsoever. Clive, the father of Cole, of course.
Exactly, yep.
They have another son there, two other sons, both of them playing exquisite softball. Very proud nation, very proud family, the Evans.
There's a lot of still dominating families in New Zealand softball, Chopper. How come?
Yeah, you know what? It's a family sport in New Zealand, and the game of softball is so opening and welcoming. It tends to have a lot of family members play it because of it. And they all might get involved. Dad might be the coach, or mum might be the manager. And they all tend to put their hand up. And I think the reason for that, as we're just saying, is that it seems to be a sport that brings families together.
Exactly, yeah.
Of course, with that in mind, that'll then bring a lot of history with that. And so the names of Evans we just talked about, both of them very steeped with tradition, and none more than the head coach Sorensen and his father Dave, just passed away, Hall of Famer, in the week leading to our departure from New Zealand a couple of weeks back now. And outstanding. They carry him with them on this tour, and they're dedicating their performance to the late Dave Sorensen. And that drop ball is working perfectly now out of Visser. Another one on the outside edge, another strike, and this time swinging over the top of it.
Rough one.
Drop goes to the back. Of course, with only one out here, that'll be a drop third strike. That'll be an out as first base was occupied. But it does allow the runners to move up now. Compain to 2, Harbro to 3. With 2 outs, they will bring up the other Evans, Cole Evans. More importantly, Visser, another drop ball, another miss.
Yeah.
One of the things you notice here, we've got some nice tall trees, and the way that the sun is situated at the moment, we've got a shade across the infield. So the ball starts to the light. And as you can see on that foul tip from Evans, as it gets through the batter, it comes through the shadow. And anyone knows normally when you've got that contrast of light, it can sometimes take a little harder to pick up the ball.
Yeah, it's for both catcher and batter right now. It's difficult to see.
Well, with 2 outs, they will send Joel Evans out to run for Compain at second base. That's to speed up the game, that rule, of course.
Exactly.
Hard hit ball up the middle. Visser's got it. And he will toss that over in time. Drop ball on the outside edge. Visser looks good for the Netherlands. And they put up a 0 spot on New Zealand. Outstanding, leaving 2 ducks on the pond.
Good outing from Visser.
Fantastic. There you go. That'll do us through 4 complete. Top 5 will come up next. New Zealand leading 3-0 over the Netherlands. Top of the 5th innings here, and the Netherlands will send up Ronnie Dix, Reverend Brooks, Anthony Beaumont, the catcher, one of the senior leaders. He'll hit in a 3 spot from this time point on. The top of the 5th innings. Chapman will continue to work the start, and Riseball's been good the whole way, and maybe just a signal from Netherlands looking to change their offensive approach.
Yeah, they got to do something. So Ronnie Dix just tried a bunt attempt, and I think you might see some more. Probably not from Rev Brooks, but let's see what we got.
Well, 10 strikeouts through 4 innings of work from Chapman. Changing your offensive strategy is a clever idea. Down low. Netherlands team and their preparation. Ooh. Down, no, he knows the call down at first base. Not tempted enough. Pitch just outside the zone. So that'll put him in a hitter's count now, Ronnie Dix. 3-1. And there's that drop ball. Took a leaf out of the book from Visser on that one. That'll fill up the count. And just rears back with the gas, does Chapman, and picks up the 11th strikeout of this contest. Outside edge, this one elevated, picks up the strikeout. Reverend Brooks now, the first baseman, flew out to his fellow second baseman in the first innings. He'll take his poison now and try and put something to work.
Brooks got to do something. Holland got to do something here right now. You might see him go after the first pitch real hard. Oop.
This one's low. Well, it's always a beautiful morning, and it gets ever so brighter when Lance Wynn walks into the booth. Great to have him along here on Championship Sunday. That drop ball is good on the outside edge. That seems to be the best pitch for both players. That outer edge. Chapman, of course, with an explosive rise ball just in case.
I think, like you said, the shade might be a real factor right now with the drop ball.
Yeah, we're interesting to see how that shade moves around as the day moves along. That outside edge being peppered again. So Chapman looks comfortable. Pitching off the block now over here on Diamond 1. Here comes the 1-2. Yep. Low lifter right down Main Street. And There's only one thing going at the moment with Chapman, and that seems to be the zone. Anthony Beaumont now. Let's see if he can put that senior leadership into practice. Lift a little low. It's always interesting to see a pitcher miss their spot and they'll look at the ground and see, well, it must be the dirt.
Exactly.
Right?
Must be something else. Not me.
Yeah.
No.
Hard hit. Full swing by Beaumont. But you can see he's a student of the game, just contemplating the sequence of events. Change of pace.
Well,
Netherlands team, what will they do from here heading into the World Cup?
I'm not sure when they're gonna travel. I think they definitely need some rest. They played a lot of games. Rest their bodies, get that mindset into the Worlds.
Seasonal wise, you're in your season here at the moment?
Yeah, we're middle of the season, and like I said, there's not a lot of great pitching right now in Holland, so these games definitely help them. A guy like Beaumont, he's a veteran catcher. I remember in 2014 when we brought over, I was coaching DVH in Amstelveen, and we brought over Adam Volkert to pitch on Beaumont, and he definitely got some experience with Adam.
Well, covered him down. Daniel Chapman here picks up his 12th strikeout of the contest, and that'll do us through the top of the 5th innings. We'll march down to the bottom in just a moment when we come back. Well, welcome back here. We are up to the bottom of the 5th innings. New Zealand leading the contest here, 3 runs to 0 at this point, and they will send up the centre fielder first. The young up-and-coming star, Riley Mark here.
Talking about families, right?
Yeah, there you
Wow.
go. It's all in the house. Thomas Markey is in attendance this weekend with his lovely wife, Clara, so that's great to see, and I think his grandfather is here. I think as one of the world tournaments, New Zealand tend to travel to support them, whether it be families or supporters or fans or whatever the case is. But I think for it being hosted the first time in Europe, it's brought a few more out, that's for sure.
That's great. Yeah, that's great to hear. I think a couple of Aussies are coming over as well, and Prague will be interesting. I know the organizers very well, and they're doing a great job at both fields.
Well, we're looking forward to an outstanding tournament coming up next week, the World Championship. WBSC men's competition. It'll start on Thursday next week, run through to the Sunday Championship the week after. And we'll have all games live coming from the WBSC for that one from both ballparks in Prague and Havertz Kablon. Well, Markia continues here against a good drop ball from Visser. This time the curveball. Markia trying to go the other way with it. Riley Markia just coming out of the junior program, just like Jackson Watt, first time on debut at a senior event, a World Championship. It will be as he dons the black jersey for New Zealand. Change up, just a little high from Visser.
Visser's actually doing exactly the same as Chapman, right? Look to the ground. Yeah. I missed my spot and I looked to the ground as a whole.
That ground's got a lot to answer for, I tell you. There's that hard drop ball. This time inside, though. So, obviously, Beaumont behind the just trying to get in the head of the Kiwis. Not staying in one location all the time. Let's keep him honest. But you know he's going to go back there at some stage. Fights that one off. Ground ball hard on the outside this time. So, Marky, good quality at bat here. Plenty of pitches. As New Zealand look to ply the runs in. Bottom of the fifth innings, 3-0 the scoreline, of course.
You think he's sitting on the outside curve? Might as well.
Definitely think it's outside. And Notre Dame's Norman Ames pulled it for sure, curveball. But in this case, it fails just too far away from the zone. And that'll allow Marquette to trot on down to first base with a walk.
That was a good pitch, though. Just a bit outside, but, you know, with these dangerous hitters, that's not a bad thing to do.
Second walk issued by Visser as he took over in the fourth innings. Go with a couple of strikeouts, though. Hit pitch to ground out. No runs given up from Visser. Nathan Nukunuku now. Left-handed hitter, captain for New Zealand, steps in to go to work. Rise ball up top, pitch out by the looks.
Shortstop playing right up the middle. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I don't know if you call that a pull defense, but it's not far off it. First baseman's right on the line. Third base is off it. That pitch is good by Visser. Just turning over as he delivers that drop ball. 1-2 now the count. Off and running on the pitch is Mark. Yeah, he will get there on the bounce throw to two. Ball goes to the outfit. He elects to stay there. Inside pitch will level the count, of course, on Nuku. But New Zealand putting themselves in motion here.
Quick recovery by the center fielder, Denny Romley. Good story about Denny is he used to be on the baseball national team, and I think he was on the squad that won the World Championships. Turned over to softball recently. He showed some great outfield skills earlier this week.
Well, exquisite fielding will always be perfect when it comes to defensively for your team to give you the upper hand to stay within a ball game. Drop ball, though, bounces this time just short. That'll allow Markey to go to third base with a little bit more ease.
I think what Visser is doing in this game is really trying to work on his drop ball, where earlier this week he was working on his curve and rise. So they have a game plan. They don't mind the score right now against the world champion.
Full count. And going at the rise ball. I guess one of the arsenals for Visser is that curveball you're talking about. Sometimes a little hard to throw to a left-handed hitter. So now utilising the rise ball in the mix. Haven't seen too many of those out of Visser yet. Ooh. And that one clips the top of the zone. And Visser will be real happy about that one as you'll send back Nuku to the dugout for the first out of the innings. Wayne Laulu now. Designated play. He'll step in to go to work, having himself a bit of a day. 2 from 2 with an RBI. One hit through the 5-6 hole and the other to centre field. He goes at the first pitch, looking for that drop ball on the outer edge. Well, if you're going to come to the Netherlands, Norman, what's got to be the top 3 things you've got to see before you leave?
Well, there's a couple of things the Aussie boys asked me to see, but I can't mention it here, obviously.
Right, fair enough, fair enough. What a fine play over there by Ronnie Dix at third base. Picks it up, takes the time to look Markia back at third base. Throng Stroh over to first base, records the out.
Well, there's, of course, going back to that subject, Choppy, there's a lot to see. You know, go downtown Amsterdam, that's the obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful beaches, and next year's we got the Formula One back.
Right.
At the Zandvoort Grand Prix. So that's always interesting. But there's, like I said, the downtowns and the city centers, and hey, I pick up a ball game here or two.
Yeah, why not get to the ballpark? Well, there you go. Downtown Amsterdam's got to be one of the locations to visit, to get the culture, find out the way of the life here. And it's always great to get to different countries and see the way people live and how they interact. Foul ball by from Jackson Watt now over to first base here.
Well, another good thing in a couple of weeks is, of course, the European Championships for women and the qualifier, the Olympic qualifier, which will be interesting.
Just up the road.
Definitely, yep.
Well, the Dutch women's softball team, they are a pretty good level.
Yep, that's top 8, top 6 of the world.
Yep.
For such a small country.
Ground ball up the middle, and the play is good. Eldrick just ranging to his left-hand side will make the play. 2 defensive gems by the Netherlands, and we just talked about that in the innings, about the centre fielder backing up there. Keeps them scoreless here in the bottom of the 5th innings, New Zealand. We'll go top 6 now. Netherlands look to try and crack the egg open. They trail this one. 3 runs to 0. Well, welcome back to the top of the shop here in the 6th innings, and the Netherlands will make an adjustment here offensively, trying to pick up their first hit of the ball game, of course, against a very strong, hard-throwing 12 strikeouts thus far from Daniel Chapman, and they'll bring in Jeff Delfina. He'll take over from Francesca in the 8th spot of the order.
Good story about Jeff Delfina. He must be the speediest player. Might be competing with Petr Vacha of the Czech team, but I certainly think Jeff is quicker than that. And I heard that already a couple of New Zealand players were talking to him about his speed.
We'll find out here. It's a 5-6 hole, and Delfina will make it with ease. So an offensive change, substitution, bring on the pace. He punches at the 5-6 hole. He gets there with about 4 steps to spare.
Jeff is a weapon. He's a personal trainer, and I think that's why. Well, probably not Lala that has been talking to him, but a few of the other boys. Let's see what they do here.
And we'll see if we get some action on the base pass. Now, not too many base runners on, of course, for only the second man on the deck on the base for the Netherlands. Just Javier with the hit by pitch, of course, getting to first base. We'll see if they'll put him in motion. There's Odell Rapp now. First pitch swinging on the outside edge.
It's going to be a good matchup between Delfina and Charlie here. Just being greeted by one of the former pitchers, Eric Zomerdijk, who was at the Christchurch tournament, I think, in 04.
Pitch out from Chapman. New Zealand trying to preempt the stolen base. Not going yet. I always like when they pitch out the very next pitch and go.
Exactly.
Lead-off runner, no look at a sacrifice bunt yet from the Netherlands. All right, full swing and a miss. And low lifter on the outside edge will take care of Rapp. And Delfina hasn't had a chance to take off and put the jet stream on yet from first base. Looks like we're going to have another substitution here. Norman coming in for the Netherlands.
Darren Joaquin.
There, Darren Joaquin now will take over for Quincy Jones at the top of the shop. The pinch hit by Delfina worked the job, worked the trick.
Fairly new player here, Chopper, so let's see what he got.
Swinging a miss of the first pitch. Netherlands look like they're going to live and die by the long ball swing here.
Well, we might see a pitch out here because they got to turn him loose.
Well, it looks like the preempted attempt here, and off he goes
There
on the
you go.
run. It's a pitch out. The throw is there, and the tag is played, and the feet are in there first. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Someone get on the phone to Usain Bolt because Delvina's in the house now. He picks up a stolen base.
That was good action. Good action. Good throw from Charlie. Good quick release.
Well, you could see there in that situation, the way things had paused and the coach took his time with the signal that it was on, he was going. Compain called the rise ball on the outside edge, gave him the best possible chance to just go with a complete setup, knew what was happening. Delfina still managed to swipe second base. And that one comes through the top of the zone. And the pinch hitter here, Jacquin, will go down on strikes. Danny Rubley now, centre field, a great defensive move in the bottom of the fifth innings, of course. Helped to keep the game, keep that inning scoreless from New Zealand.
Danny's a good student of the game, so he's seen a lot of pitches the last couple of days and see if he can adjust.
Well, he's got a prime opportunity for Netherlands to get their first run of the ball game. Any type of hit here with the pace of Delvina from second base, you would think he will try to score.
His swing is getting better, though. He's seen a lot of rise balls right now, and he seems to adjust fast pitch swing instead of a big baseball swing.
That's always the challenge, isn't it, when you're making the transition? There's that rise ball. You think the Black Sox don't know he's come from baseball? He's going to get a healthy diet of those rise balls.
I think he's seen rise balls the last 5 days. I remember I had one player coming up for me from baseball, and I think the first 9 at bats he had strikeouts, and he threw away his bat and quit. Well, I won't mention his name because he's a legend.
All right, fair enough. And this one's above his head. He can't hold back on it as Chapman decides, not on my watch, picks up his 15th strikeout of the competition, and we'll just see what's going to happen here with the umpires. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. New Zealand leading the ball game 3-0. Oh, welcome back here to the Zeister Slide Tournament here. And Josh Harborough will lead off for the New Zealand side as they look to try and pad their lead in this ball game. Leading at the moment 3-0 here. I'm Jason Gervie's AK Chopper. Joining me in the booth, Ballpark Broadcasting, is Norman Ames, resident of just down the road here. And, of course, a great career himself, especially in the coaching realms of things for such a long period of time. Great to have you along, Norman, with your experience.
Thanks, Chopper. We've got a couple of changes. Darren Jakim going to third base and Jeff Delfina bringing the speed in right field.
All right, well, nothing's going to touch the grass in right field with Delfina's pace. Change up by Visser. Jeffrey Visser has come in the fourth innings, hasn't surrendered a run, stopped the bleeding, just exactly what the Netherlands needed. Hard hit ball, reactional stop by Visser, and he will take the first out there, 1-3. Plenty of sport coming from the dugout from the Netherlands. Callum Compain now, the catcher for the Golden Homes Black Sox. He'll step in from the right-hand side.
Good spot.
Perfect pitch on that inside edge corner. Well, this has done well since he's come into the fourth innings. This will be his third innings of work, of course. Netherlands do have some action in the bullpen. Precautionary measure. We saw the physio come out. Maybe also the strategy pitching by committee.
I think Visser is doing fine.
I think he's doing real
Yeah.
fine. Ground ball over the top of that. And replacement third base, Jacquin will make a nice play over to first for the second out of the innings. 2 up, 2 down, 2 ground ball outs.
I think a lot of credit of Visser's outings and also from West Blanc has got to go to Anthony Beaumont in this one. He's smart. He knows he's got to, don't focus on the strikeouts. Focus on hitting your spots and moving that pitch.
Well, the think tank Beaumont behind the dish working well. Drop ball this time a little low. Bullpen's warmed up. Coming back to the dugout now. Pitching staff for the Netherlands. What have they got in the artillery there?
They got number 1 or 2, I think, definitely Visser and Jeroen Mulder, the big guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's not as big anymore. He used to be way bigger, but he lost a lot of weight. And M. Lawrence can do it all. He can be behind the dish. He can pitch as well. And they got West Blanc, of course, and they got Ennio Quast. So they got 5. And where West Blanc and Ennio Quast I must say, M. Lawrence and Ennio Quast are both utility players, so they can play field as well.
So plenty of options from the pitching circle for the Netherlands here. At the moment, Jeffrey Visser is doing an outstanding job. That drop ball on the outside edge too low this time. Campbell Anoka working his way in the count. Rewarded with a hitter's count now, 3-1.
Going back to the curveball. Yep.
And gets it on the outside edge. So Visser is up for it. So are the Netherlands now. You can just see them bouncing in the field. They recognise that their man in the middle is doing a hell of a job for them at the moment. Defensively, Netherlands have been outstanding. And Inoka spoils that drop ball. Daryl Marino just providing advice and support from the first base coaching box. Great to have him assisting Mark Sorensen, head coach, at third, of course. Jimmy Warner, the Battery Coast coach, in the dugout. And that drop ball going to the well one too many times. The hitters are going to adjust, and we see Anoka just poke that one up the middle.
Well, talking about the legendary coaching staff right there, right? It's a couple of Hall of Famers.
It sure is indeed. And they both come from their ball club where they were growing up, played so many years together for the Hutt Valley Cardinals Club in the Wellington Hutt Valley region. And friendships like that and experience that they gathered from playing together for such a long period of time, they now work just simultaneously as a coaching staff.
I still think the friendships in this game are the best. We used to have a couple of Kiwi players, like Darren Davis, for example, out of Christchurch on our team. Jared Welsh, Scott Dale. Great boys. And those friendships, they go a long way, right?
Yeah, it does indeed. Hello to Darren Davies. If you've drawn into the broadcast, good to have chicken at any time in the game, chicken. That's for sure. Well, Joel Evans continues to go to work here. That pitch, curveball on the outside edge is good. Visser not mucking around. Straight back to the circle, straight back to the rubber. Mounted on now, leans back. And that drop ball is good. Evans digs in now. Plenty of banter from the Netherlands team. And he gets the call on the outside edge of the zone. And Visser has got this Netherlands team pumped up, I can tell you that. We'll see if that's the official word on the game. We see their handshakes coming out. And it looks like that may be time here, Norman. An hour and a half are the games scheduled for today because they had to reschedule the match. And we're just waiting for the official word. It looks the case.
Yep.
And it is indeed. They are going to shake hands here. So we do have a final here on Diamond in this matchup, 11 o'clock game between New Zealand and the Netherlands. New Zealand running out victors in this 3-0. Daniel Chapman, the story on the hills. He goes through 6 innings with 16 strikeouts to Daniel Chapman. And then in the batter's box, you can't go past the big guy, Wayne Laolu. 2 from 3 with an RBI as New Zealand march forward with a score of 3-0. Norman, your thoughts on the game?
Well, I think big ups for the Netherlands team. They look ready. They look ready for the Worlds. 3-0 against the world champions is not a shame, definitely. Defensively, it looks good. Offensively, they got to pick something up, but Chapman was good. Chapman was good today.
Well, he was indeed. Got to give credit to the replacement pitcher, Jeffrey Visser. Stopped the bleeding, 3 runs early in the match in the first 3 innings, and then he seemed to stop the offense from New Zealand. Not an easy task, but a great job and a great pass mark for him.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Jeff. He's been a long-time member of my club team, and I coached him for about a decade, together with Beaumont and a few other players, but really proud of this kid. Just coming back in the national team and just standing there like he hasn't been gone. You know.
Well, it hasn't been gone long. New Zealand win this one over the Netherlands as the Netherlands applaud the crowd for their attendance in it. Congratulations, Netherlands. Fine ball game. Congratulations, New Zealand. Of course, thank you to the ambassador from New Zealand here to the Netherlands for her time in the booth, Linda Walker. Great to have her along. That'll do us. Next up will be Denmark taking on Australia. That's at 1 o'clock, so approximately 15 minutes. We'll go off here, come back with you on that one, and the call from Lance Wynn. See you next time.
up the middle. In comes Benny Milko coming around third. He'll score easily.